Chapter 7. Sorry, Best Friend. They had just arrived in Mumbai. The schools were still closed. So when Mummy began going to office, Sonu stayed at home by himself. Of course, Mummy was not happy to leave him alone. But what could she do? After all, they had come to Mumbai so that she could go to office. Mummy needed a job after Papa's death. Sonu explained to Mummy.
I can look after myself.
But of course, that didn't make his fears go away. In Delhi, there were always so many people, grandparents, uncles, aunts and cousins, and the neighbors. Mummy always gave instructions before leaving. Don't open the door except for Bai. Don't lean out of the balcony. Don't turn on the gas. Be sure to have lunch on time. A little after Mummy left, Bai would come. When her work was finished, she too left. He watched TV for a while or read on the balcony, and then eating, and then sleeping. What else was there to do, all alone? When Mummy returned in the evening, she would take Sonu for a walk, but she'd be too tired to answer his questions. One day Bai brought her little girl along. She said to her sternly, "Stay there and not a word out of you." Bai began sweeping and swabbing. The little girl crouched in her corner, silent. She was terribly thin and not very clean.
What's your name?
Asked Sonu. The little girl just looked frightened. Bai scolded her. "Didn't you hear? Baba wants to know your name. Tell him at once." "Rahiman," she whispered.
Do you go to school?
She shook her head.
Why not? I'll be going to school soon.
Bai said, "How can she go to school, Baba? She does all the housework."
The housework? But she's still small.
When Bai was about to leave, Sonu said quickly,
Please bring her again tomorrow.
The door closed and Sonu ran to the balcony to wave bye-bye. Rahiman looked up but didn't wave back. That evening, Sonu had much to tell Mummy. As Mummy looked at his excited face, a thought struck her. She said something to Bai on Sunday when she was home, and after that, Rahiman came with her mother every day. She no longer crouched in a corner. She wore clean clothes and her hair was neatly oiled and plaited. They would eat lunch together. Now the day flew for Sonu.
Do you know, Mummy? I am Rahiman's best friend.
He told his mother one day. The holidays were almost over. On the first of the month, Mummy gave some money to Sonu as she was leaving. Keep this carefully. When Bai comes, give it to her. It's her salary. Then taking out some more rupee notes, she said, And this is Rahiman's.
Why Rahiman's, Mummy?
Asked Sonu. Doesn't she come here to play with you every day? Smiled Mummy. So, she wasn't really his best friend? She didn't come because she liked him, but only for money? Sonu felt as if someone had slapped him. That day when Rahiman arrived, Sonu didn't speak to her or play with her. The next day was Sunday. Mummy took both the children to the beach. Sonu was still angry. He walked without saying a word. Why don't the two of you make sandcastles? Said Mummy. Sonu and Rahiman settled down on the sand and each began to make a separate castle. Rahiman's castle was beautiful. It had big and small domes and arches. As for Sonu's castle, even the walls weren't ready. Rahiman, it's really lovely, said Mummy. Sonu's half-made castle remained unnoticed.
First, she takes our money,
thought Sonu.
And then Mummy praises her, not me.
His anger boiled over. He got up, ran towards Rahiman's castle and stamped on it. He began to jump about on her house as if he had gone mad. There was a fight, of course. The two children scratched and hit each other. Mummy tried to get them to make up, but Sonu wouldn't listen to her. Next morning, Mummy asked Sonu.
Why did you behave so badly?
Sonu sobbed angrily.
I thought she was my best friend. But she only comes here for money.
That's not true. Come and see Rahiman's house. I won't go to office today. They went to a cluster of huts. It was terribly smelly. There was garbage lying around in heaps. Soon they entered a tiny house. It was so dark inside that they could hardly see. Rahiman got up from a corner. She was in torn and filthy clothes. Rahiman, Sonu has come here to say sorry to you, said Mummy. No, where's the need for that? Bai broke in. Children are always fighting and making up. Nobody minds a few fights, Bai, Mummy said. But they should not hate each other. Tomorrow Sonu will be going to school. Rahiman too can go, can't she? Yes, Mem Saab. We'll use the money you gave to buy books and her uniform. Mummy was smiling, her eyes on Rahiman's face. Then Sonu went to Rahiman. He put out his hand on her shoulder, and though he whispered, all of them could hear him say,
Sorry, best friend.